All right, if we look at the distribution of well control points and the positions that we have known concentrations, there's still a lot of room in between those control points. I'm going to propose, this is highly unscientific, but just to help you conceptualize, I call it the PlayDoh model of plume movement. And this is my daughter working, maybe you have one of these if you have kids. You put PlayDoh in this machine, you push pressure on it, and it squeezes out these little patterns in the front. So if you start out with a pattern like this, which actually might be representative of the aquifer is not uniform across. There are places within the aquifer where groundwater will flow more easily than others. And you start the process of squeezing the PlayDoh through. And I put yellow PlayDoh into the machine here and started to squeeze it through. You notice it comes through in some places sooner than others. And I've chased it with some red PlayDoh, so you can just start to see the red PlayDoh coming through. And maybe that might represent a contaminant or higher concentrations. And as it starts to come out, you start to see a lot of variability. And the question I would pose is, what if the E-plume really looks more like this than one uniform mass? What if it is a bunch of little stringers of preferred pathways, and have we put our monitoring wells in the right places to actually sample these? It's probably not like PlayDoh, but it's probably a lot more complex than the simple notional models that you've seen depicted to date. Okay, so if it is more like this, the problem is that I would say there's room for additional pathways for contaminant to move that we haven't actually sampled. And we can't be sure that the leading edge of the plume really is right here where it's mapped. So, where's the plume going? The answer is, we don't know. We need more information to be able to predict where the plume is going to go. But even with that additional data, there's always going to be some uncertainty about the plume's migration pathway. We're never going to know for sure. More information is good. Exhaustive information is never going to be a part of this problem. So how do you deal with that? Well, one way to address the uncertainty is through the use of an appropriately complex groundwater model. And we'll talk about that in the next segment of my presentation. But right now, I've agreed to take a timeout for 5 or more minutes so that if I've stimulated any additional questions based on that, or if I haven't filled you in with some important piece of background information, we can capture that now and get it onto our question boards as well. So the ball is back in your court.